What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Dave. I am a photographer and videographer from the Bay Area of California. And today we are gonna be talking about my experience using the Leica SL2-S for the last several months, and if this camera is all that I thought it would be. I have no intention of making this video crazy long because what I'm gonna say can be summed up pretty quickly. Now, before I get into my thoughts on the camera itself and what the experience has been like, let me just say that I bought this so that I could transition over fully to Leica for my video work. For photography, I am nearly 100% shooting on my Leica M, whether it's the M11 or the M6. But for video, I'm still very much in the Sony system, as I have been for a while, shooting on the Sony A7S III like I am today, as well as the Sony A7R V, probably one of the greatest hybrid cameras ever made. And as much as I love Sony and I've shot Sony for many years, whether it's photography or videography, my experience with Leica just kind of makes me want to go all in and just fully move over and just find a way to make it work and just be brand loyal. I don't know why that is in me, that I feel like I have to just be brand loyal, but I am slowly getting over it. So I picked up the Leica SL2-S and I got the Leica 24-70 2.8, and I've done quite a bit of work on it. Let me start by saying that the experience of holding this camera is about as good as it gets. There is no other camera that I have held in my hand that feels as good as this feels. I wouldn't say I have massive hands, but I have fairly large hands, and I'm not super tall, but I'm 6 foot and size 12 shoe. I've got, I'm a fairly bigger guy, and holding a camera like this just feels like perfection. It feels as if it was designed for my hand. One of the biggest things is I have space between my hand and the lens, which is an incredible feeling. Let me compare that to this Sony A7R V with the 50 GM. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I have no space. My knuckles are on the lens. And then therefore I kind of have to hold it in a very tight grip, or almost just in kind of a weird way where I bring my pinky down below if I'm shooting, just to get a little more space on my hands. With the Leica, whether the SL2S or the SL2, and I'm sure they're going to continue this trend in future cameras, it is just like perfection to hold. A little bit of a trade-off though is it's a little heavy, but I mean, what do you expect? It's a well-built, beautiful, perfect, flawless construction camera. I mean, it's fantastic from this perspective. And I think that if I was to say that the video work that I did was primarily me behind a camera, I think this is about as good as it would get. What I've been doing is I've put this into a cage, which I have right here. I took it off for this video, but I put it on this cage. I put the cage on a few rails. I put a follow focus band around the lens, and I have my follow focus in my right hand, and I've got a nice robust rig with a nice monitor, external battery, and I'm just good to go when I am behind the camera. Honestly, I just shot this short film, but I used 3 cameras. I used the Sony A7S III, the Sony A7R V, and those were my static cameras for the interview that I shot. And then I did this as a handheld, and when I was trying to color match all 3, the Leica looks like perfect. Like honestly, there's something about the colors, especially on skin. This looked incredibly natural, where the Sony system was a bit red on the skin. I found myself having to move the Leica colors towards Sony because I just couldn't go the other way. It was hard to match the Sonys to the Leica, no matter what tools I was using. So this is a fantastic camera when you are behind the camera. And I'll also say when you are shooting manual focus, whether you're using a cinema lens or you're manually focusing your autofocus lens. It's also fantastic if you're adapting M glass over to this camera. I got the Leica M adapter. It feels snug and secure. It feels great on the body. And honestly, like using this for manual focus is a pretty nice experience. It's not an experience I want on an M camera, so I'm not like looking for that at all. I only really shoot rangefinder on the M, but being able to use this on like a 50 Summilux at 1.4 was pretty fantastic. It was a good experience. That said, this for me is not much of a photography camera. 2 reasons. 1, I don't love the experience of taking photos on cameras like this. I like rangefinders. I like my M11 and M6 experience. I like a medium format experience where it's, you know, waist level, top down. Those experiences that I like. I don't like taking photos, you know, like this. So I don't. I also couldn't really get into the limited megapixels of this camera as somebody that shoots the M11 or the A7R V. 24 feels really low. And I know for so many photographers, 24 is more than enough for what they do. But for me, it just didn't feel high res enough, so I really haven't even messed around much for photos on this thing. But I did love the idea of having something with autofocus, because sometimes I want to be able to hand a camera to a friend or to a family member and be in some of the photos and have the Leica look. But that's where the miss is, guys, and that's ultimately what this video is about. This camera cannot autofocus. It just can't. Okay, that's a very black and white statement. It can autofocus, but it doesn't do it well. It does not autofocus well on video. It does not autofocus well for photos, and that's because it's using contrast-based autofocus, which to me is a really strange decision in 2020 when they made this camera. It's almost like they left out really critical tech for no reason, because phase detect autofocus is why Sony is what it is, why Sony is regarded as the best autofocus. That and their ability to track. And I mean, right now, if I look at my monitor, this thing is locked on my eye, and no matter if I come forward or back, it is just the box is there, it is locked on. This has a mode where it tries to lock on, but it misses all the time. I can't use this in autofocus because I can't trust it. I shot some vlogs with this, just like this setup here, my YouTube stuff, and I'd pull the video out and the whole time it's literally breathing past me, even though I'm not moving. I could just put it in manual and rock and roll with it, sitting on a tripod like this and try to lock myself in one position and not come forward, not come back, not try to show you anything, and just roll that way. But I'm not trying to do that. As much as I love the SL2-S, it just is not working out. And I'm saying that as somebody that creates videos like this, where it's me, I'm by myself, I am talking to a camera on a tripod, or I am out and we're on a trip and I'm literally walking around like this, holding the camera, facing my face, or on a little tripod or something. Like, those are the kind of videos I do. You watch the channel, and if you haven't watched my channel and this is your first time here, go ahead and subscribe. I mean, I try to make some cool stuff and I hope you guys enjoy it. Subscribe, go ahead. But you've seen my videos, like, I'm not always behind the camera. In fact, I'm rarely behind the camera. And if I was behind the camera all the time, the Sonys would be gone and I would be shooting on this, because the colors, the look, the glass, it's incredible. But I'm not. I need something with good sticky autofocus. This camera is not it. Can I recommend the SL2-S in 2024? I don't think so. I think that this camera is feeling its age regarding the sensor's megapixels as a hybrid camera, as a photography camera as well. If it was just for video, like, I believe the A7S III is a video camera with 12 megapixels, and that makes sense. It's not a photo camera, but as a hybrid camera, I think we're missing some resolution. And as a camera, whether it's video or photos, we're definitely missing sticky autofocus. I haven't really decided what I'm doing though, if I'm honest with you, because I am trying to make more films. Like, that's one of my goals, is to explore being behind the camera more, having a story and going out and capturing that story, and that it doesn't involve me in this position, you know, where I'm talking to the camera. No, like something that someone else is doing the talking and I'm capturing. And with all of that said, I'm super pumped about the short film that I have coming out next week. It may be the only project that I ever do with this camera, because I might just sell this thing off, this little kit that I've got here. Haven't decided yet. We'll figure it out a little later down the road. So yeah, to sum it all up, love the way the camera feels, love the glass, think the resolution, it's not enough. The autofocus is impossible. I can't make it work. Wish I could trust it, but I can't trust it. I lost so much time trying to shoot videos like this and then find that breathed the whole time or never even was on me. They shot a video 2 weeks ago and it was focused back there the whole time. And I'm watching on monitor as well. Like, I'm watching a monitor, but it was just slightly off. I couldn't quite tell on my little monitor. that's disappointing. Can't recommend it, wish I could, wish I had better news. I think the SL3 will have phase detect autofocus and be a big step forward, but this is not there yet. Sorry guys, this is my first video where I'm really not feeling Leica. Like, this is a big miss. And I know this camera's pretty old, and I did buy a used camera knowing this information. This isn't all new information for me. But I don't know, I just thought maybe it wouldn't be that big of a deal. It is. It is that big of a deal. All right, guys, thank you for watching. If you have any thoughts, comments, drop them below. Join me in my disappointment and all of my sadness, and maybe recommend what I should do next. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.